Chapter 31. American Idol. My wife was pregnant and just weeks away from giving birth. We were still in our honeymoon phase. We had been living with her parents for a year, trying to decide where we would put down roots. Staying with her parents was ideal for us because we had a chance to save up a little bit of money. I was working as a family counselor at Phoenix Group, a group home for kids. At all of the jobs that I have ever worked, I never went in giving out my bio or rattling off a list of things that I had done in my life, but they would eventually find out. Maybe it was because I was always singing. The young people that I worked with had all experienced hard lives. It brought joy to my heart to be a part of a staff that was working to steer those young adults in the right direction. The same year that I worked for the Phoenix Group, I went to San Francisco to audition for American Idol Season 4. I was contestant number 92,346. I slept outside for 2 nights with about 3,000 other aspiring singers. It was another great experience to be out there sleeping on the ground and listening to all kinds of voices singing in line. Though I had been signed to Death Row, my album was never released. I had not yet seen the success I had dreamed of. I was hungry, so I waited with the other hopefuls. We were equals as far as I was concerned. The next morning, American Idol opened the doors to the arena. People were passing out food, water, toothpaste, and juice to each other. It was such an inspiration to see singers going in for what they believed in. We had all slept on the ground and in the rain for a chance to pass the first set of judges. We wanted to make it to see Simon Cowell, Paula Abdul, and Randy Jackson. After making it inside, I auditioned for 2 judges and advanced to the next round where I sang 2 songs for the show's producer, Nigel Lithgow. Once I made it past him, I was on to Simon, Paula, and Randy. When I walked in the room, I was so scared because I saw that Brandy was one of the guest judges. I didn't want her to blow my cover. When I walked in the room, she started jumping up and down. "I know him. That's Danny Boy," she said. After that audition, Idol called me and said that I could not be on the show because I had a record deal. But that wasn't the case. I was no longer signed to Death Row, and my album was never released. I did whatever I could to downplay the whole Death Row thing. By some miracle, my plan worked, and they agreed to let me compete. At work, the staff and clients hung banners in support of me. Idol checked the contestants into a hotel. At this juncture, we no longer had to sleep outside. During this time, I had the chance to meet a lot of good singers and people from all over the world. When it was time to be put in groups, I was paired with 2 other guys. Scott Salvo was from Ohio, and Matthew Myers was from Georgia. After the first day, I knew that our team was at risk because Scott had an attitude with Matthew and me. It was like he thought that he was too good to sing with us. When we were scheduled for rehearsal, Scott would show up late. Not only did we have to learn the songs, we had to come up with a routine, and none of us knew how to dance. Both of my group mates were talented singers, and our voices melded together beautifully. If they were judging solely based on our vocal ability, we would have nothing to worry about. The next day, they had us sitting in the arena for a long time, before they even began filming. We sat there and waited nervously until it was our time to perform. When we got on the stage, Matthew forgot some of his verse. That made me nervous as hell. When I came out to do my part, I didn't feel that I did as well as I wanted. Scott sang the last verse, and we ended the song with a hard harmony. After performing, Randy and Paula said that it was the best harmonic ending that they had ever heard on the show. At the end of it, I was really happy with what we had done. After all of the performances were complete, all of the contestants that performed were told if they had made it to the next round. From our group, Scott and I had made it through, but Matthew was cut. I felt really bad for Matthew because he was really cool. Things progressed fast after the cut. It seemed as though they were trying to put a lot more pressure on the artists that were left. I hung in there. With each performance, the judges would give me a great compliment. Things were going well until Idol's lawyer came to me with copies of the Death Row website. I was all over the site, along with promotional copy about my album release. The lawyer walked up to me and was like, "What the fuck is this?" And he walked away. By this time, they placed different groups in different rooms. I didn't think anything of it because all of the people that were in the room that I was in could sing their asses off. After sitting in the room for a while, the judges came in and announced that our group would be going home. I was at a loss for words. I felt that I had missed out on another opportunity to share with the world. Death Row had me at a standstill once again. But life and music go on. I'm not a hater or anything. But how the hell did Scott make it so far? Chapter 32. Where do we go from here? Ari and I took a trip to Chicago so that she could have a chance to meet the family and friends that were unable to make it to LA for our wedding. We were also on the hunt for a family home, so we scheduled an appointment with a realtor so that we could explore the Chicago market. We saw some nice houses, but after braving the bitter cold, we decided to take our home search elsewhere. When the holidays were over, we were on our way back to sunny LA. Ari had a friend who had been going back and forth between Atlanta and California. She had finally found a property that she wanted, and her house was being built. She had hyped it up, so we decided to have a look for ourselves. When we arrived in Atlanta, we met up with the same agent that helped Ari's friend find her place. By the time we headed back to California, our house was being built. In no time, we were shopping for furniture and moving into our house. The house had a huge kitchen and living room. The master suite was the size of a one-bedroom apartment. Atlanta was a good move for us. We both had great jobs, and I had partnered with her father to open a picture and home decor store. Business was good, with so many people relocating to Georgia. We lived in Atlanta for a few years without family. That was really hard on us. My stepson David was missing his grandparents. Demarion was a baby when we moved to Atlanta, and so he hadn't really had a chance to know them. When the economy failed, everything went crazy. Ari was laid off, and my job wasn't paying enough to keep us afloat. Business slowed, so we had no choice but to close our store. Just about every other month, Ari's dad had to help us out financially. With the cost of living in California becoming more expensive, her parents decided to relocate to Atlanta. This way they would be closer to the children, and together we would be able to make things work financially. Many people had told me that it was a bad idea, but I had lived with Ari's family before. I didn't think we'd have a problem.